Today we're going to be looking at Leading Change by James Cotter.
In terms of material on change, there's a lot of kind of inspirational or visionary books that are kind of talking about how to create a vision, how to communicate a vision. But Leading Change is a bit different in that it goes more into how to kind of predict that your vision will fail, how to look at the elements that are required for a successful organizational change or movement and look at what goes wrong in these and how they either don't get off the ground or don't reach critical mass, or how they start off well and then fail. And really looking into all the elements that make change difficult and make it difficult to sustain, and where the common pitfalls are. One of the things I liked about this book, they go right into it. Why do firms fail? And looking at all the different factors that causes businesses and organizations to not be successful and not be successful at the change efforts that they are trying to implement. These 8 errors are great. Just kind of summarizing when they look at many examples of organizational change efforts, where did the failures happen? And a really good summary of these errors. And he goes into complacency. Really, why do organizations, when faced with very serious issues, not address them and not manage to inspire people to make the changes necessary? Another really interesting part of this book is they really focus in many times on the difference between management and leadership, and the difference between management skills and leadership skills. And they actually do this is really cool, a profile of 4 different gilding coalitions and nailing down how much leadership and how much management is present, and how that affects whether this leadership and management combo is likely to work or not. And this is great. They basically talking about leadership creates this, management creates this, and why you need them both, and how they relate together in terms of an effective vision and implementing that effective vision. These characteristics of an effective vision are really great for dialing down how to create one and what it should look like and how it will make people engage. This part was great. It talks about how much we communicate to employees. And even if you think that, sending out an email and maybe one follow-up is a great way of communicating a vision, it compares it to the overall communication. Just to kind of show you how little communication that actually is. Even if you believe you have communicated it, you probably haven't. And it's very likely to get lost in the cloud. Another key point about business transformation, you really need short-term wins. You need them at regular intervals, and you need to communicate them, and you need to use them as tools to get to the change that you're trying to achieve. Without them, it is very difficult to keep up motivation and momentum. And getting more into the role of short-term wins, they greatly justify the short-term costs. They help fine-tune. They actually give data on the viability of the ideas. So your ideas are given merit, and the long-term wins are easier to go after. As well as building momentum. You'll never have 100% of people on board at first, but it can eventually win over those reluctant people. And this goes really more into leadership and lifelong learning. So kind of what makes somebody able to really dig in and seek new challenges, develop those leadership skills, and be part of an organization that's competitive. And he kind of finishes off talking about, brings it back to the individual and talk about mental habits that support lifelong learning. Risk-taking, humble self-reflection, solicitation of opinions, careful listening, and openness to new ideas. Basically a really great framework book. This one really is something to consider if you either are part of a change going on in an organization, or if you are knowing that your organization needs to make some changes, even on a smaller level, even on a department level. This will help you understand why it's not enough to have a great idea and be very passionate about it and have 1 or 2 people supporting you. You really need to have a framework. You need to understand the pitfalls and understand the kind of ecosystem that you're working in, and how to put these things in place to not ensure success, but increase your chances of success.